Okay, class. Let's continue with our test solutions. So for number 17, the question is asking us to determine whether the graph is increasing, decreasing, or whether the graph is actually constant. So again, you're just looking from left to right. Okay, and you can see starting from here, the graph decreases, right? And also decreases from this point coming on down. Okay, so in two locations on this graph, the graph is actually decreasing. So I was going to put decreasing first, and it's decreasing along on -5, and this right here is 0, 0. That's the center, so it'll be -5, 0. Then also decreases from 2 all the way to 6. Okay, then we have 2, 6. Now our graph increases. The graph increases from this 0, 0 all the way to 2. So that's going to be from 0, 2. That's the only place where the graph is actually increasing. Now the graph is constant, again, from 6, to infinity. Okay. Now the question is asking us here, is this function going to be this function here, f of x equals x to the 4 minus 2x squared plus 7. Is this function even, odd, or neither? Okay. So as your solution, you want to look at, if it's even, the function f of x has to equal f of negative x. And if it's odd, the function x has to equal negative f of x. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to, we see here that our f of x equals x to the 4 minus 2x squared plus 7. Okay, um, let's try f of negative x. And what do we get here? So we're going to get negative x to the 4 minus 2 into negative x to the squared plus 7. Okay, and that gives us x to the 4. It's going to give us x to the 4 minus 2x squared plus 7. Okay, so since our f of x, which happens to be x to the 4 minus 2x plus 7 equals f of negative x, these are the same thing, right? Here and here. So that tells us that our function is even. Okay. Now for number 19, they want to know, is this a linear function or not, and what is a range and domain? Well, as I shared with you in class over some time ago, a linear function, when you look at f of x, for instance, or 2x minus 1, since this value, this exponent is only 1, it's going to be a linear. If f of x looks something like this is quadratic because of this 2 right here. Okay. Now, the domain, the range and the domain, okay, the range and the domain, since we're not given any kind of limits on this, so the range equals, we're looking at negative infinity to infinity, and our domain equals negative infinity, comma, infinity. Okay. We're asked here to sketch this graph using this restriction here. Okay. So you typically know when you see a graph absolute value, it's going to look something like this, and it's going to look something like this. Okay. Now, in this case, we have to our values have to be actually greater than or equal to less than 5. So of course, what I just drew, you can do that here. Absolute value of x, but we have to start from -5. Include that in our point. -5, that gives us 5. -4, that gives us 4. And it goes on and on, okay? You kind of get the picture. So here, at this point right here, this is going to be -5, 5. This point right, and it's going to be a dot, okay? And since those are the values they chose, we're going to have, it's going to be continuous, okay? Um, Number 21, they're asking us to create, first of all, from this basic function here that we see here, they want us to write the domain, okay? And they want us to define the domain using inequalities, okay? So for our solution, again, whenever you see an open circle, that means that number is not included, okay? So for the domain part, we're going to get, this function is valid, -5, infinity. It starts from here, and it goes all the way on and on and on to infinity, right? And then now the actual function itself, because they want us to write the function, define the function, use an inequality to express the restricted domain. Well, this is just a linear line, and it goes through the mid 0, 0. So your f of x equals x. Now, for the inequality part of the restriction part of the domain, in this case, it's going to be, our x component is going to be -5, right? For x happens to be greater than, and we can see the graph is going up in a positive domain, positive dimension. So that's going to be, x has to be greater than -5. So this is your answer right here, okay? And this is your answer right here, okay? I hope this helps. If you have any questions, kind of let me know, and I'll be so happy to explain even further. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.